Hey guys! In this video I'm talking about stat boosting farms for early and mid-game, and giving a Materia fusion primer as well. By mid-game, you can farm up over 5 million SP an hour and max out a Materia build with max stats, and I show you how to move the stats around desirable Materia. I just uploaded a 1-hour silent mid-game farm using only Mog's Amulet, Darkness, Damage Break, and Buffed Attack. I built a full max stat endgame build. I didn't even need HP Break or a bunch of endgame equipment to do it, and you can do this one as early as the end of Chapter 2. I'm not sure if the thumbnail will stay the same. I tend to tweak thumbnails after uploading because usually I rush the original thumbnail, but the video will stay the same. No doubt you've been fusing some materia already and maybe have a bit of a gong show of random materia with random stats. For the endgame, you'll want tidy, plus 100 or plus 999% stats on specific materia to beat the strongest enemies in the game. The materia you put the stats on, and the specific stats, don't matter too much since you can move the stats around with some trial and error, but the main thing is you want to build up some materia with high stats to begin with. 4 rules to start off though. The first rule is when fusing materia, one of the materia stats will be halved, so if you're combining 2 HP plus 100% materia, the result will be HP plus 150%, not 200%, because one of them was cut in half. Either the weaker materia or one of the 2 identical materia will be halved. The second rule is that percent stat boosts are equal to 10 times the flat stat boosts, so 600% HP is the same as 60 attack or spirit, etc. If you have a materia with plus 60 attack, you can convert that to 600% HP or MP. The third rule is that some materia are way more advantageous to have stats on, because they more easily transfer to other materia you actually want the stats on. Status Ward and Cure are excellent materia since it's easy to transfer to many other materia. Quake isn't as great, since you need to use roundabout methods to transfer the stats. The higher the level of the materia, the more likely it is to be created through fusion, and since Quake is so high, you'll notice many materia turn into it when fused. The fourth rule is that mastered materia isn't great to combine to transfer stats, since that can often upgrade the materia into a higher level materia in the process. Quake turns up often. Notice how many combinations turn mastered darkness into Quake, but there are more combinations that keep darkness if it isn't mastered. You aren't screwed if you have stats on a Quake, or have lots of mastered materia though. It just sometimes takes more effort and SP to move the stats to a new desirable materia. The most difficult part of adding stats to materia is building up the raw stat bonuses to begin with. Once you have a bunch of materia with, for example, plus 60 attack, plus 500% HP, plus 60 magic, etc., you have room to play around with the stats. There is a shortcut though. Some missions give mastered materia rewards with crazy stat boosts already on them. There's 14 of these fancy materia. Unfortunately, many of them are in late game missions, but you can still land some early on, and you'll definitely want to get all of them eventually. Here's the full list. 251 gives you a plus 40 attack Assault Twister. 252 gives you a plus 35 magic Hellblizzaga. 253 gives you a plus 60 magic Wall. 545 gives you a plus 45 magic Quake. 655 gives you a plus 500% HP Drainga. 656 gives you a plus 40 attack High Jump. 866 gives you a plus 60 attack Stop Blade. 933 gives you a plus 38 magic Gravity. 936 gives you a plus 30 magic Flare. 955 gives you a plus 40 magic Hellfire. 956 gives you a plus 50 magic Mega Flare. 961 gives you a plus 60 magic Zantetsuken. 963 gives you a plus 80 magic Rebirth Flame, and 964 gives you a plus 100 magic Exaflare. These 14 mission rewards give you a combined 718 stat points to allocate. Not bad, since there's a total of 600 stat points to allocate across your 6 different materia slots at a time. Keep in mind that many of these will be halved in the fusion process, but as free mission rewards, they're worth getting, even if you don't need many of them by the time they're collected. The 500% HP Drainga is one of the earlier materia you can get, and it's a great base to build up 999% HP with. For endgame, the stats you're looking for are 2 materia with 999% HP, 1 materia with plus 100 attack, 1 materia with plus 100 magic, and 1 materia with 999% MP as a start to build off of. There's discussions about which materia are the best to have in the endgame, but some good ones are Wall, Curaga, Quake, Darkness, Costly Punch, Status Ward, Dual Cast, Moogle Power, Graviga, SP Turbo, and Steel or Mug. I'll get into endgame builds in a later video, but most endgame builds involve many of these. If you have some materia with some stats on them and want to tidy them up, the main thing is to ensure that the materia are nice to transfer from. I won't go over every possible fusion trick to get stats off a nightmare materia, but I'll go over some. And keep in mind you can easily change the stat type during these fusions. If you have a plus 60 magic wall that you want to turn into a plus 600 HP, you can combine it with Death Jump and add a chocobo feather to turn all that magic stat into an HP stat on a status ward. Anytime you want to change over a stat to another stat, just add one of the higher end fusion materials to the fusion to swap the stat over. They tell you on them what they change things into. Hero Drink does attack, Fat Chocobo Feather does HP, etc. If you want to transfer stats off an HP up, you can use a Hell magic like Hell Blizzaga to create status ward. If you want that 500% HP off the Drainga, fuse it with a wall to create a wall with 500% HP. If you want the 40 attack off the Assault Twister, combine it with Stop to create Status Strike. If you have stats on a Status Strike and want to turn it into a Status Ward, fuse it with a Spirit Up. If you're stuck with a bunch of Mastered Quakes and want those stats, fuse them with Status Strike to create Status Strike, then fuse with a Spirit Up for Status Wards. If you have stats on a Mastered Status Ward and want to make it unmastered, combine it with Status Strike to create Unmastered Status Strike, then combine with a Spirit Up for an Unmastered Status Ward. Then you can combine that with Curaga for Curaga, Wall to create Wall, Mastered Graviga to create Darkness, to name a few. If you have the stats on a Dispel, you can fuse with Graviga to create Graviga, or Flare to create Status Ward. If you want to pull the stats off a high-end DMW materia you got in one of those 9 series missions, combine them with a punch materia to make Costly Punch. Again, this isn't meant to be a complete fusion tutorial, but I wanted to give a bit of a guide to move stats around some common materia. I'll also talk about some farms and other ways of building up stats for early, mid, and late game. For most of these farms, you would greatly benefit from a Mog's Amulet. You can get it just 3 missions after the Wu Tai Secret Shop, so I strongly suggest having one. The early game farms give you lower end fusion items. They're a bit of a pain to farm since they require so many items to build up stats, but you don't need much besides Steel and Darkness with some attack stat boost to make them quick. Some mid-game farms give you better fusion materials, but you need at least Darkness, Damage Break, Mog's Amulet, and some attack stat buff to make them quick and easy. The later game farms are ideal for speed farming since they drop high-end fusion materials like Dark Matter, but you need to be able to collect rare drops and ideally do 20k plus damage per Darkness Blast, or they'll be too painful to consistently farm, though you can do it without Damage Break if you're a glutton for punishment. Before I get into the farms, I'll mention the potion trick, since it was a popular method in OG crisiscore. The moment you get item fusion, you can build up stats from scratch if you have a few 100,000 gil to spare, a decent amount of SP, and like clicking around your menus. The way it works is buying basic HP up materia and combining them while adding in a bunch of potions to up the stats. 2 HP plus 10% materia with 80 potions creates an HP plus 50%. 2 HP plus 50% and 60 potions creates an HP plus 100%. 2 HP plus 100% creates an HP plus 150%. An HP plus 150% and an HP plus 100% creates an HP 200%. Every additional HP plus 100% adds 50% to the main HP up that you're building. It's very boring, takes a lot of clicking through menus, a ton of money, but you can build up, for example, HP plus 500% with 36 basic HP up materia, a ton of money, and lots of clicking back and forth to buy more potions. I don't recommend doing it, but as an OG crisiscore player, I wanted to mention it. For early game farms, you want to look out for worms, bound fats, and Ahriman that drop fusion stones. Other enemies drop low-end fusion materials as well, but these are the main 3. In 725, you can steal Spirit and Magic Mako stones from the Ahriman and Gargoyles without a Mog's Amulet. In 834, you can steal MP Mako stones from Nightmares, Mind Stones from Evil Eyes, and Evil Goyles drop Magic stones without a Mog's Amulet. Remember 643? I mentioned it in my SP farming guide since it has movers. Well, this is a good early to mid-game farm for low-level fusion items, SP, and money. You can do this one early on with just a Darkness materia, Mog's Amulet, and boosted attack stat. You don't need damage or HP break. Run up and down this segment and get into fights. Don't steal from the movers this time though, the goal is speed. You want to wipe out every fight with a few Darkness shots. The worms drop Magic Mako stones, the Sahagins drop Frost armlets, the movers give 16,000 SP and drop gold armlets, and the birds drop Thandaga. Again, great to fuse with HP up and AFK master the resulting elemental ward for tons of SP. You can run around collecting the various items and sell 99 gold armlets for 300,000 gil, 99 frost armlets for 400,000 gil, and use the Mako stones to boost magic and materia fusion, but since they're low-level fusion items, it's still slow. Approaching mid-game farms, you can farm demons for darkness materia. The ideal farm includes Mog's Amulet, darkness materia, and a decent attack stat buff. You don't need damage or HP break. You can dust the darknesses for 8k SP a pop, or slowly fuse them together to build up a stat. 634 is a good early mission to farm them since they show up in many fights in packs of up to 3. 732 is even better since red caps also spawn and they drop attack Mako stones. Darkness fusing is tedious and a waste of SP, but I'm mentioning it for its one big advantage that challenge players will benefit from. You don't need items and fusions to grow the stats, so this is a chapter 2 to 3 stat boosting farm. Once you get access to 663, you'll want to check it out. It's the craziest place before endgame to get money and SP and build stats. For this farm you'll need damage break, Mog's Amulet, darkness, and a decent attack buff. Run between these 3 points and try to one-shot every fight. Every single fight is either lesser worms or movers. This mission is magical. You can run around the whole map if you like, but this area will give you the quickest battles per minute since you spend the least amount of time running between the open areas. Each fight with movers will get you between 18k to 25k SP a pop as long as you one-shot things or don't get hit and kill the movers last, and battle with worms gets you magic stones as a common drop or dark matter as rare drops. The Horned Devils also drop royal crowns as common drops and darkness as rare drops, so you can use the darknesses as a base to build up stats. If for some reason you don't have Mog's Amulet yet, combine 2 darknesses with a single dark matter to turn the stat into magic, so you can use magic stones on it in future fusions. Build up magic stones and slowly build up the magic stat, then fuse with more desirable materia to transfer the magic stat over, or turn it into another stat using a different fusing item. If you have Mog's Amulet, the worms will drop dark matter, and each dark matter is +1 magic, so when you hit 99 dark matters, add them to a materia fusion and spend the million SP and you'll have an automatic +100 max materia. Between the movers, the worms, and the demons, you'll be drowning in rune armlets, royal crowns or darknesses, magic stones or dark matters, and SP. You can sell 99 rune armlets and 99 royal crowns for over 400,000 gil. Or you can add royal crowns to the fusion instead of magic stones and the stat jumps up even quicker. You can also dust the excess darkness materia for 8k SP a pop. If you have a jeweled ring, equip it to double the item drops. This place is wild for farming since it gives you basically everything you need and it only takes an hour to beef up for endgame. The only challenge is efficiently melting the mobs. You want a darkness and max attack stat. If you're farming the area for dark matters and your attack stat is weak, you can start off with a punch move and use dark matters to build up the magic stat, then convert it to attack stat with a hero drink. Then just farm for other stats. There are other missions that work great for farming, but I haven't found a better mission than 663 since it has basically everything you need. It isn't a crazy endgame late 9 series mission, and it's fairly chill. You don't need to be hopping around dodging pain-in-the-ass enemies hoping for good fights. Every fight is a banger. I hope this video helped. Let me know which farms you like the best and if I missed some crazy non-endgame farm that's better than 663. Thanks for watching. Peace.